phrase. All right. And then after that, you need to be the first person to buzz in on the chat after I say go. Now, let me show you what I mean. This is an example, okay? So I'll put out a word, a phrase, and it might look like this. All right. That's the phrase in pink. There's a 2-word phrase that gibberish forms. Does anybody think that they might know? Oh, I see some names. Put it in the chat of what do you think that 2-word phrase is. It might not always be 2 words. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see if let me pull up the chat here and see if I can see. Oh, it's hidden. Apple juice. Yes. It's not Jesus is Lord. Jesus is normally the answer, and it really is in life. For this game, this specific instance, it's actually apple juice, but not a bad guess. So it's apple juice. Happled hoose. Apple juice. Ta-da. Exactly. All right. So if some of you have Instagram, this was like one of those little filters in those games. And I just loved it because it was so nonsensical, but really kind of clever. And I like the way that it made parts of my brain work. So again, so I'll show the slide, but don't write the answer yet. What I'm going to do is in the chat, I'm going to write go. And then right after I say go, you can put in what you think the right answer is, all right? And the first person who says it as close to my go as possible wins. Okay, you don't just win a prize. So I have a few of these. What's going to happen is if you win one of these heats, your name gets put in. So Linda, if say Nathan's the first one to answer there, we're going to make great job, Nathan. Nathan's name gets put into the draw that we're going to do at the end of this for either an Indigo gift card, $25, or it's not $500, but it's actually $25 for Starbucks. So you can choose between an Indigo gift card or a Starbucks gift card. So we're going to put all the names of the winners into a randomizer, and we'll choose 2 winners from that pool. So any questions? Okay, again, I'm sure you guys will get it as we go along. There's no J. It's just as you say the word apple juice, then there's a phrase that this gibberish represents. So some of them are real words, some of them are not. Man, okay, everyone. And parents, if you guys want to participate, you can, but I'll say that if you win, you have to pass on the prize if you win it to your kids or your youth. All right, here we go. Round 1. Dun, dun, dun. First one. Boom. So don't write it yet. You have 10 seconds to figure this out, to sound it out. What could this be? David, this is really gibberish. That is the point. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, well, go. So, okay. Oh, man. Okay, so, okay. So everyone said potato chips, and that is correct. However, only Jamie and Gabriel were the ones who wrote in the answer after I said go. So I'm so sorry that to Jason's iPad and Myron and Lacey, you guys just didn't quite get the instructions, but that's okay because there's another chance. Yes, let's put down. We're gonna put down Jamie and Gabriel's into the winner pool, please, Linda. Okay, and we're gonna keep going. All right, we're getting the hang of it. You guys are quick. So if you know the answer, that's great. Just hang on to that until I say go, and then the first one who answers close to my go gets the prize. All right. Yeah, you can start typing as long as I'll say go and hit it right away, and then we're just gonna let technology decide who's the most accurate to the microsecond, nanosecond. I don't know which is smaller, micro, nano, doesn't matter. To the small fraction. Next round. Here we go. We're gonna pick things up. Go. No. I didn't say. Oh, I said go, but think it out. Sound it out. When I write go, when I go like that, then you can type it in. All right. What could this be? Gibberish. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Type your answer. Oh, valedictorian. Yes. Oh man. So Alexis was the one who got it right after I said go. You know what? I keep saying the word go, so I'm gonna go like this so that there's a visual cue as well. Okay, I'll go like go and hit it. Good job, Alexis. It goes into the pool. A valedictorian. Okay, who can give me a definition of what a valedictorian is? I could give a bonus point for this. No, valedictorian. Anyone wants to type that out? This is a little bit different for us who are homeschooled because it doesn't maybe necessarily apply. Lawrence says it's the speaker at the grad. Yes. So typically when you do your graduation ceremony, the valedictorian is the person who's been elected by the class to deliver the speech, and typically also goes along with they have the highest academic achievements also. So I guess different schools do it in different ways, but I'm sure you guys have read that word before. So good job for figuring that out, Alexis. Here we go. We have 2 people in the winner's pool so far. Round 3. Dun, dun, dun. Who? Gibberish. Figuring it out, figuring it out. You guys are so fast. All right. And ending in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Ambidextrous. Oh no, not Lawrence and kids. Hey, Lawrence and kids. It is, in fact, the answer is a backstreet alley. A backstreet alley. I don't know. This is some part of me that really enjoys this like weird thing, because I'm actually very terrible at this. When I was putting this game together, I was horrible. So you guys are much better than me. I don't think I could have gotten in 10 seconds. So a backstreet alley. Good job, Lawrence and kids. All right. And you can get 2 entries into the pool. So keep trying. Backstreet Boys. That would have been it's worth a guess, Nathan. Good job. Here we go. Next round. We've got a few more. Still a chance for everyone to make it in. All right. Boom. Gibberish. Gibberish. Oh, goodness. Sound it out. Sound it out. Okay. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, so close. Wow, you guys were so on the ball. It is actually, yeah, I see it. Gabriel Lex is the one. Lactose intolerant. Heyo. Yes, lactose intolerance. And you know what? There's all kinds of milk now out for people. There's almond milk, there's soy milk and other things. Yes, lactose intolerant. Gabriel X. Linda gets put into. They get put into the pool. That's great.
Sorry, David. Who was it again?
It is Gabriel Lex. Gabriel Lex. I'm just Gabriel.
Gabriel
X.
X. Okay.
Gabriel X.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's when I say, so everyone should be able to see my go in the screen, right? So and you guys are just really so fast. So hopefully between the sound cue and the visual cue, I mean, most people are getting it. Oh, there we go. You found it. Good. Okay. Just a few more left here. Here we go. Oh, go. Oh, no, don't. I didn't say go. Whoa. Keep thinking. You have 6 seconds. I need another word. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, Zach. Oh, wait. Yes. Okay, good. Yes. Okay, I was reading up all the different answers. The answer is chocolate chip cookies. Yes. Karen said chocolate cookie, and you need the chip. The chip, it's all about the chips. So chocolate chip cookies. Zach. Linda, we're going to put Zach into the winner pool also. Thank you. All right. Man, I think we have 2 more. You guys are getting good at this. All right, let's just do 8 seconds. We're gonna turn it up. These ones are a little bit harder in the sense it took me a lot longer. Maybe probably not gonna be the case for you. Next round. Here we look at it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Heyo. Alexis Weeb says, for your information, and that is the correct answer. For your information. Has anybody, okay, hands up or thumbs up, has anybody not gotten one at all out of all of these? Has anybody not gotten any? Some people, but most people have gotten some. Guys, I was in your shoes. Okay, for your information, here we go. Okay, next one. Okay, you know what? Let's do 2 more. Let's do 2 more here. Here we go. 3, 2, next slide. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, Keith, you were so close. But Jamie and Gabriel. I think it's Gabriel. I'll say Gabriel. Is it Gabriel? Oh, I see your screen. Is it Gabriel or Gabriel? Gabriel. Okay. Anyway, you guys got a. I know you did write it down. Maybe give me a thumbs up. Is it Gabriel? Thumbs up. I can see your screen. It's not. It's Jabriel. Jabriel. Okay. It's she typed it right there. How could I have missed this? Morning breath is the correct answer, and that's something none of us have to worry about right now, because A, it's evening, and B, it's Zoom. Okay. You know what? To make it interesting, for the last one, if you're in the top 2 answers, if you are in the first 2 that answer this correct, get put into the winner pool for the Indigo gift card and the Starbucks gift card. So, because it's the last one, everyone. This is the last one we've got here. On your marks. And I don't want to say go. Here we see it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. This is a tricky one. Oh, but it's not for 2 people. Oh my goodness. Jamie and Jabriel and Bergonia, in fact, did get the right answer of Dora the Explorer. Dora the Explorer. Wow.
That's Bergeronia.
Pardon?
That's Bergeronia.
Bergeronia. Thank you. Thank you. As we've already learned from this game, I'm not even good when the words are legitimate or they're gibberish. I'm just not great. But good job on getting an entry into that. Congratulations. Okay, Linda, can I have you type out all those names? Can you type out all those names and put it in the chat, Linda, of all of you? As you collected those names of each person who's got that. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, it's the winner pick time. All right, and here's how it's going to work. Great. Wait, first of all, round of applause. Good job, everyone. Good job on doing so well at that. Yes. Okay. That is right. Now, I think we can say that Jamie and Jabriel definitely dominated because they got 3 entries into this. Incredible. Amazing. Let me just make sure I have this all ready. Okay, there we go. You can see this is like the winners, the shout out for the winners. Alexis, Lawrenson, some kids. Okay. Gabrielle. Times 2. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen so everyone can see how this is going to work. Okay, yes. Okay, down to 2. Zach, yes, Zach got 1. And Alexis also had 2. Alexis had 2. Good job, Alexis. That's right. Okay. Bergeronia. There it is. Bergeronia. I should have been doing this while I was hosting, but okay. I think we've got it. I think I've got it all. Okay. Okay. And I'm just gonna do J and J because that's who they are. Okay. And we're just gonna make it easier for everyone. All right. Here we go. I'm gonna share the screen. And Linda, you give me a thumbs up to make sure I have everybody entered in. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yes. I should have 10 entries. Is that right, Linda?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11.
11. Well, let me share
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, don't 10. You're right. I got Alexis there twice.
Woo!
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
You're good. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let me share this little fun thing with everybody to keep the suspense going, because it's all about the suspense. Maybe not. I'm failing on presentation a little bit, but that's okay. We have the randomizer. So we have each person's entry into this entered, right? Everyone can see there, the winner, each winner, you can see your name entered there. Here's how it's going to do. I'm going to hit randomize, and the first person and the last person, so spot 1 and spot 10, you guys get one of these. Whoever gets the 1 spot can choose if you want the Starbucks $25 gift card or the Indigo $25 gift card, and the 10th place person can get that, because as we know, the good book says the first shall be last and last shall be first. It's actually not random, it's coded. Well, but it's random enough for me who can't code. Okay, everyone's good with this? Thumbs up. Winners.
Whoa.
Yes,
Sorry,
go ahead, Linda. Yes.
You just need Alexis twice.
Yes, she is in here twice. Sorry.
Is she there twice?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
So
okay.
You're right up there at the top twice. Because I have 10 entries here. Good?
Okay.
All right. Oh, man. Drum roll. Do your own drum roll for yourselves. And 3, 2, 1, randomize. Oh, Bergeronia gets the first pick, and then J and J get the second one. Good job, Jamie and Jabril. Okay, Bergeronia, which one would you like? Would you like the Indigo or the Starbucks card?
Definitely the indigo, please.
Okay, you get the Indigo one, J and J. You guys will get the Starbucks one. Linda will make note of that, and you guys can just private message her to be able to get your information to her for that. All right, good job, everybody. Okay, next one. We're gonna leave the screen on for this one because, oh man, actually, here we go. Okay, that's right. We are going to be doing our next game. There are a lot of buttons on a computer, everybody. And I don't even know if that makes me sound old, but it's the truth. Okay, we're gonna have question period. And so what it's gonna be, if you can turn on your screens now, so we can see everybody, that's gonna be great. Because this is a little bit more interactive where you don't need to be typing anything at all. For the first part, you don't need to be typing anything. I just need to see mostly your hands. And for the question period, we're just gonna get to know each other a little bit better. So I'm going to be asking some questions and you guys can be giving your answers. And that'll help us, as a group, you can understand, oh man, these people are like me, or these are some like-minded people and these are the people that are not. No, we love everyone. Okay, I'm gonna ask a question. It's just a this or that. So I'm gonna say if you are this, then you put your hand up here on the screen, wherever the top of your screen is, put it there. If you're that, put it on the bottom. Okay, so for instance, like classic, if you prefer Coke, put it up here. If you prefer Pepsi, put it down there. If you prefer water, put it off to the side. 3, 2, 1, go. Coke, Pepsi, water. Okay, yeah, all right. Hey, good job for us water people. All right, on the top, here we go. Are you a morning or evening person? Go. Morning or evening? Okay, look at that. Nice. We got a good mix here. Good mix. All right. Dogs or cats? Dogs or cats? What do you people? Oh, okay. I'm seeing a lot of dogs. I'll say I think I'm a cat person. I would say I have neither, but I think I'm a cat person. Okay, Myron, you're feeling me. That's good. Okay. Toast or bagels? Oh, but you have to have an opinion. Like if you get offered a toast or bagel, which do you choose? Man, bagel. Just so much more like, more filling, I think. Okay, nice. All right, next question. If you're walking or if you're old enough to drive, which many of you are, if you're walking or driving, do you prefer listening to music or podcasts? Music or podcasts? So,
what about audiobooks?
Audiobooks are down here. Yeah, man, 2018 David was up here. 2021 David right here. Yeah, audiobooks or a podcast. Okay, a couple more. Do you prefer cake or pie? Cake or pie? Because there is a difference. Wow, pie down here. Okay, all right. But if ice cream cake was over here, anybody else want to change their answer? Okay, that wasn't fair. That was the third option. Good stuff. Okay. Just a few more questions. But instead, I think because I know your arms might be tired from going up and down, and so now I just need you to throw out a number. So I'm gonna ask a question, and you throw out a number. Again, part of the icebreaker. We're gonna find out who's all in this group. So here we go. Throw up a number for how many siblings you have. Go. How many siblings? Oh, okay, yes. I see some 2 hands there for some people. Yeah, okay. Oh man, that is well done. And hey, if you're an only child, that is all right. You still have time. Parents should still, you can have that conversation later. All right, next question. How many cups of water have you drank today? Like just a typical glass. Like maybe you have a water bottle, then try to figure that out. How many cups of water have you drank today? Are there some people that have not drank any water today? Everyone, that is so good for your brain. You should really, Karen's admitting to it. Okay, well, I would suggest, if you want, after this, you should go and maybe just have a sip of water. That's not bad. Michael, okay, Michael's off. He's doing that. And I see, okay, that's good. Well, yes, maybe if some of us had drank more water, we would have done better in the previous game because it helps with your brain. It does. Okay, next question. Throw out a number for how many pets you have. How many pets do you have? Your family. Oh man, Lawrence and kids are like flashing. Are you I'm acreage maybe? Or do you have goldfish? I didn't consider that. People might have aquariums and that would be a lot. Okay, we're seeing some 5s, some 1s, some 0s. Yep, some 0s. Those of you who have a lot of siblings, you're like, I have a lot of siblings. I do not need more responsibility. And that is a true older sibling talking. I understand. I was second oldest of 9 kids. Okay, and just a couple more. How many provinces in Canada have you been to? Think of it. How many provinces in Canada have you visited? And just so everybody knows, there's 10 provinces and 3 territories. So if you need to throw in a territory there, you can. Actually, there might be some of you guys who have been there. Wow. How many people? Try to count up. How many provinces have you been to? If you've only been to 1, that's okay. You guys, there is time once everything opens up. Okay, Kaden, it's not Karen, it's Kaden. Thank you. I see that in the chat. Okay, all right. We got some good travelers here. We got some good travelers. Nice. All right. And one last question, one more question here. How many years have you come to the Manitoba Association of Christian Homeschools conference? How many years have you come to the Matches conference? This is your throw up a one because if you are here now. This is your first conference and you can hold that up proudly. Yeah, okay. There's some people who've been here a while. All right, and some people, okay, at least I would say more vets than first timers, but that is okay. Everyone, you are so welcome here, and that is good. Oh man, awesome. All right, let's do it now while everybody has their screens up. Everyone, we're just gonna take a couple of really quick. We're gonna take some group pictures. So everyone just smile really nicely. I'll do all the work. Oh, and I see this recording too. So everyone just smile, and this will prove to your parents that you were here and doing this and not, watching YouTube or reading your books or doing other things, but you were here socializing as we do now in 2021. Excellent. You all look fantastic. All right, we have time. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to the game that has the most prizes. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the game that has the most prizes. And okay, and I'm gonna kind of meld my two games together. Guys, you're learning. I mean, as an MC, you get to learn as much about me as I try to do about you. And so, as well as not being good at gibberish, I'm also not good that much at time management sometimes, or at least I'm an optimist because I look and I see how much time we have and I just want to do everything. So we're going to combine two games right now. So this next game is called Pollsters Rock, Paper, Scissors Competition. And here is how it's going to work. I'm going to go to this screen. And so I'm going to show, so we're going to need the chat for this one. This is more of a thinking game. So what's going to happen is I'm going to give you out a prompt. I'm going to ask you what percentage of people do this. Okay. So I might say like, what percentage of people are left-handed? And between 1 and 100, you throw out a number, give one answer in the chat. If you have multiple people on your screen, just break it down. Be like, John says 5%, Joey says 30%. Just break it down for me. And whichever person is closest to the right answer wins that round. And then they're going to win that round. And then we're going to have a second round. And then those 2 winners are going to rock, paper, scissors for a gift card. All right. So I don't think you need to be still be recording. So what you're going to do, let's just jump into it. I'm going to throw up the prompt and you put in one answer into the chat of what, but where did my thing go? Oh, here it is. I see where it went. Sorry, I'm trying to share my screen, but I lost the page. Fun times. Okay, here we go. Let's hit present. Come on, presenter view. Work with me, computers. I hope people are still there because I can't see Zoom anymore, but aha, there we go. Right? Come on, computers. David, your reviews are going down. This is not good. Why is it not working, everybody?
We're still here.
You're still here? Great.
We can still see you. You look
okay.
good.
Let's try this. Let's just do that. Okay. Everyone can see that, right? I don't think I want presenter view. It keeps playing with me, so I'm just gonna go standard. Okay, we're gonna try this. Okay. All right, can everyone see this? Thumbs up? Thumbs up? Great, thank you. Pollsters, so you are going to, let's jump into it. Let's just jump into it. What do you think? What percentage of people have never in their lives ever eaten brunch? What percentage of people in their lives have never eaten brunch? Go ahead and throw that into the chat right now. Give a percentage. It's between 1 and 100. So it's 1 and 100. Whoever is the closest is going to going to win. All right, Linda, your job with me is going to be my answer judge. We're going to go through these answers right away. Okay, I'll give it a couple more seconds while we finish it up. Linda, I'm going to send you the answer actually, so you can start looking for it in case you see it. Hopefully, I don't put everyone. All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lock it down. Ooh, okay. So the percentage of people who have never in their lives eaten brunch is actually 15%. And I should have clarified and give you, you know what? I should have given you guys some context. The winner can still win for this round, but to context, this was an anonymous poll sent out to 100 or so people on the internet, not by me, but by the people who made this game. So, 15% have never eaten brunch. Also, if anybody has ever played Jackbox games, it's very similar to Guespionage. So, Linda, do we have? I think I saw 13%. Somebody said 13%, and that was, or 12%. Tyson said 12%. I don't know if we have anybody who's closer than 12%.
Yes, I saw Tyson at 12 was the closest. That
Great,
I saw,
Tyson,
so.
you're the first place
Yes.
winner. You're in that championship bracket, so you stay there. You can still answer if you want. Okay, next person. We need a person to face off against Tyson. All right, boom. What percentage of people from 1 to 100 would rather come up with a different username than a different password? I won't say I won't influence this, but I'm just like, apparently everyone, there's some people would rather come up with a different username and a whole account than a different username than a different password and change it up. Okay, get your answers in the chat. Again, if there's more than one person that you're sitting there with, then you type an answer and then have them type an answer. Just put a little distinction maybe by it. We'll just assume that, like, for the Lawrencens, they can have like 7 guesses or something like that. Okay, all right, lock it in. We're gonna shut her down when I show the answer. So, okay, here we go. It's not negative 0%. The percentage of people is actually 30%. Oh man, Linda. Okay, so I know I did see a 30. I think someone got it right on, actually.
Hadassah.
Right, but was there anybody else? No, Hadassah. Fantastic. Okay, so Hadassah, and was it Sean? Oh, Linda, I already forget who was the previous person.
Tyson.
All right. Tyson and Hadassah. Can I turn your screens on? Can we see you? Give a wave to everybody. Tyson and Hadassah. Okay, so I need you guys to rock, paper, scissors. Everybody else but Tyson and Hadassah, turn off your screens. Maybe just close your screen so we can watch this in all its glory. We're gonna watch a rock, paper, scissors. Best of 2. No, best of 1. Unless we need it. Okay, we have Hadassah there. And we have oh, where's it? Okay, I see Hadassah's screen. Oh, and we have, is it Tyson or Taos? Oh, Tyson's there. Okay, guys, I'm so sorry. All right, are you guys ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Tyson, Hadassah, all right? Okay, on my count, we're gonna say rock, paper, scissors, shoot. And you throw your thing in front of the camera for a shoot, all right? Here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, Hadassah, because the rock beats the scissor. Good job. Hadassah, Linda's going to reach out to you and get your information. We have time for one more. Let's do it. Okay. We did this one. Everyone's back in now. Let me know what percentage of people have at least one expired item in the fridge right now. What percentage of people have at least one expired item? Was there a question?
Yeah, go with maybe. I did 89.
How do you?
Okay.
Who's giving out their answers? Okay. Someone's unmuted. That's okay. Throwing it up. I don't co-host. You guys might have to help me with that to mute them. That's okay. All right. Give an answer. Here we go. What percentage of people have at least one expired item in the fridge right now and locking it down? Oh, I see lots of answers coming in. A lot of answers. Man, I like the confidence, Jared, of 99%. That's just, oh, and Braden and Tyler. Good job. The correct answer, believe it or not, is 83%. Oh, 82, sorry, 82%. 82% apparently have that. Linda, go ahead and let me know what if you can see a winner there. If you can see a winner, it's not 99. It's not 99. But again, I'm impressed by that, the boldness of that.
We've got Caden at 78.
Ooh.
Caden at 78.
Annika said 86.
Okay, so they would be both
okay.
four away. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think Annika. All right, Annika, good job. You're in the winner circle. And we have our last question. Our last question before we get into that final duel. Your parents might have a different answer than you, but don't worry about that. What percentage of people?
Oh, sorry. Are we have Annika and somebody else?
No, just Annika, right? I think it was just Annika that was the closest, unless somebody else answered the same.
She was 86 and someone else said 78, so they're both 4 away.
Oh.
Yeah, I lost the person that had 4. Hold on.
Okay.
Or 78. Hold on.
It's Caden.
Caden, right? Yeah, it was Caden. Yeah.
Oh,
Caden,
good. Thank you for doing it. Thank you. All right, Caden and Alexis are our 2. Okay, Caden and Alexis.
Annika.
Oh, sorry, Annika, Caden, Annika and Caden are the 2. All right, that's good. We'll do this one, and we're gonna figure out a way to get those guys a prize also. Annika, Caden. All right, and here we go. This one, I don't know if it's adults or it's just a percentage of people. These are the people that answered the quiz online, which makes me think they're more adults. But I mean, high schoolers and teenagers can also take quizzes online. All right, people are answering for the last question. Oh man, what percentage of people make their beds every day? Here we go. Lock it in. And 3, 2, 1. All right, answers end. I'll just put that just so we know. If you're sending your answers, that's fine. The correct answer for this poll was 20%. 20% make their beds every day. I assume also this was before COVID, but I feel like the COVID things would make these numbers drop even more personally. But 20%, only one guess. Yes. And other people are multiple guessing. I'm just assuming on the honor system that you have multiple people in your house. Okay. Fantastic. So Linda, do we have a 20%er who threw out an answer there at all?
Well, there's only like 3 people answered. Taus at the bottom says I said 20%.
Taus, can we confirm that? That's pretty spot on, Taus, if that is the case.
Yeah, and there was a 70, a 0, 46, and then Taus I said 20%.
Did you say it in the chat, Taus? I don't know.
Yeah.
I accidentally said 0%, but I meant 20.
Oh, that's a tough one. That is a tough one, Taus. I think we have to go with what was written. Oh, I know you wouldn't say 0%. I trust you. You know what? I saw 0 on purpose. You know what, Taus? We are going to have a prize for you. We'll send you a prize. I trust you. I trust the people in this thing, so I will get you a prize. And then for our other 2 people, you know what, Linda, we're gonna give the other 2 people in the winner's circle prizes, and also, my memory isn't even what it was. The second place person who got second place in the first round, they're also gonna get a prize also.
Okay.
We're just gonna prizes for everybody because we are at the Matches Homeschool Conference. Guys and girls, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, so much for joining us for this part. Don't go away. There's still lots of fun to be had, but I'm gonna turn things over back to Gerald, I think. I relinquish control of the mic.
David, thank you. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that, even if I didn't get very many answers right. But we really appreciate it. So how many of you enjoyed and were challenged by the online games that we had here? Why don't you wave your hands and jump up and down and give a thumbs up? And
you can't see anybody.
David, thank you. Really appreciate your you're taking the time and lining up prizes and doing so much for us here this evening. So this is wonderful. I'm thrilled to have all of you here tonight to be able to get together, and we're going to continue to spend time together. And I'm going to now welcome our guest keynote speaker for this evening. It's Carl Teichrib, and I'm just looking for Carl here. There's Carl. I'm going to spotlight your video, Carl, and just want to introduce Carl and welcome him. Carl is from Manitoba. Carl has spoken at the Teen Track before, so some of you have heard him in the past. And he's going to be talking to us about rethinking and rebooting. Carl is a researcher, a writer, and a lecturer, and he focuses on what's happening in our culture around us today. He's been he is a teacher at Miller College of the Bible, teaches some courses there, as well as an author. He's written the book Games of Gods, The Temple of Man. And Carl, I'm not going to take any more time, but I would like to just pray for you before you share with us. But it's great to have you joining us from Plumas, Manitoba. And I know some of the kids know where that is. And so let's pray together and welcome Carl. Lord God, I thank you for Carl, for his willingness to join us here this evening. And Lord, I just pray that you would speak through him, and that you would challenge each one of us with what you would have us to think about, to learn, and to focus on here this evening. Pray these things in the name of Jesus. Amen. Welcome, Carl.
Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to be with you folks today. Just a point of clarification. I haven't spoke at a previous Matches event, though I was asked to do so last year, but of course, because of COVID.
Sorry, Carl, I know you were scheduled to.
Right.
That's where my confusion probably came
No,
in.
and that's totally fine. No worries. 2020 was a year of confusion. And sometimes I think we're still living in that confusion. For those who don't know who I am, and I would assume that's the majority, I'll give you a little bit of background. Yes, I live in the Plumas area. It's a small village out in the middle of nowhere. I love being out in the middle of nowhere. It's a fantastic place to be. Northern lights, fantastic sunsets, and I just enjoy it. I grew up in this area. I grew up in the Gladstone area, which is just down the road. Grew up on a grain farm. And my wife and I homeschooled our two children. And we homeschool them from the beginning right to the end. And our son is married now. They're both grown up. Our son is married and works for CP Rail. And our daughter, she is going to be graduating from Miller College this next month. So that's pretty exciting. It's kind of cool to see how life just progresses. And for your age group, you are in that stage where things are starting to move quickly, really quickly. It may not feel like it some days, but yeah, you're moving quickly. The work I do is a little bit different. I'm going to have to explain some of that up front just to give you a bit of a sense or a flavor of what I'm engaged in, because I'm going to bring some of that into my talk this evening. And we're going to be going into lots of Bible. We're going to be probably tackling some heady stuff, but I know, and I'm saying that honestly, I know you can handle that. In fact, you're at the age now where you have to begin to handle that in a serious way. So my job, I am a researcher, a writer, a lecturer on worldview issues. And I know in the homeschool world, we have heard worldview out from every angle already. And I'm not going to be tackling that this evening, though there's going to be a little bit of interplay with it. And I've been doing this kind of work since 1992. And full-time since 1997, and I ended up writing a massive big book. It's, I mean, the size of the book that you could probably, kill small animals with it. It's a big book, put it that way. And it's my job to occasionally go to places to do research, and I'll be talking a little bit about that in a couple of minutes. But yes, I teach a modular course at Miller College, and the course is on secular trends, what is happening in our world. And that's your world. Regardless if you're homeschooled or wherever you may be, even as parents, this is now your world. Your world has bombarded us. It's moved into our space. And so that's just a little bit about me. And where I go in terms of my research, because I actually do real research, I go to events, I go to places that are off the radar for most Christians, including things like the Parliament of World Religions. I go to United Nations events, world government meetings. When I'm saying world government, I mean, honestly, world government meetings. I go to pagan gatherings and all kinds of different places that, for the most part, the Christian world exhibits either some fear over or it just doesn't know it's even happening. And I have to constantly remind myself that in this world, we're going to have troubles. In this world, we have all kinds of challenges. And when you engage in some of these topics, it can be pretty scary or pretty heady. I remember being in a situation where I was in a large pagan gathering, and there was some concern. There was some concern inside of myself as I'm doing the research there. And all of a sudden I had a little spark in my mind going, hold on. Every knee will bow. Every knee will bow. We bow in love, but the rest of the world will bow as well. So why are we afraid? Why are we afraid? And boy, when we talk about 2020 and COVID and everything that's happened, the world's been living in fear, hasn't it? Fear and uncertainty seems to have been the norm. And of course, it's affected all of our households because of the restrictions and all that goes with it. But just to give you some big picture fear factor scenarios, 2020 and right now, the world, the nations of the world are talking about what's happening with the global economy. There is nothing but fear about what is taking place in the global economy. What will this look like for jobs, for investment, and on it goes. But there is fear. What does the global economy look like? What will it look like for your generation? A lot of fear about the next pandemic, no question. And always fear about climate change or something along those lines. So culture is constantly screaming at you, be fearful, be afraid. Politicians, on the other hand, and I've seen this firsthand with the work I do, are constantly promising some form of salvation. Do this and save the world. Do that and save yourself. And so we're being bombarded by these messages continually. And it doesn't seem to matter where you are, you can't get away from it now. And then we end up looking at the realm of just personal fear and uncertainty. There was a poll taken by the Mental Health Research of Canada, which is a nationwide organization taking a look at the state of our mental health. And the findings of their poll that was conducted from December the 10th to December 18th showed an unprecedented level of problems. 22% of Canadians who were polled said that they had been diagnosed with depression. 22%? 20% had been diagnosed with some anxiety disorder. And what was really kind of crazy was the highest levels were reported in our province, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan. And then last summer, another COVID mental health study came out that showed that 36% of adults had difficulty sleeping. Alcohol and substance abuse had gone up, up, up. The list is long of what's taking shape in terms of just depressing news. Well, this is what happens when we have a world in fear. This is what happens when we have a world that has lost its way. And the question I have to ask is, who do we trust? Who do we trust? Do we trust the world? Or do we trust the creator of the world? It's a big difference. And with young people in your age bracket and those in the early adult stages, studies have shown that anxiety has risen dramatically. The inability to find a job, that's affected a lot of people. Where am I going to find my income? College and university students. Colleges have either shut their doors or have granted limited access. And that has been That's been a big deal for a lot of people. My own daughter going to Miller. She's just thankful she could go to Miller because there was places where it was all online and you couldn't step into a classroom. There's a lot of studies that show young adults right now are definitely in that high range in terms of depression and anxiety, stress, confusion, uncertainty. Yeah, let's face it, 2020 was lousy. It was a lousy year for a lot of people. And we can't kid ourselves. It was a tough year for homeschoolers too, because you're home already. And you're used to seeing your friends. You're used to going to your church. You're used to spending time with your family because that's your circle. And now, bang, that was gone. And so you're at home and you're online or you're in the books and we're at home. Ouch. And of course, that threw up all kinds of things in our minds. When can I meet my family? When can I spend time with my friends? What will your summer look like? Are Bible camps going to open? Can I volunteer anywhere? Can I get a summer job? Can I go on vacation? I'm tired of hanging out with my younger brother. That kind of thing. What can I do? For me, I want to travel. I love traveling. The work I do requires that I'm on the road a lot. 2020 just shut right down, but 2019, just to give you an indication, I was on the road 2 to 3 times per month, 3 to 5 days each time. I think my longest stint away was 18 days from home. I love traveling. I love being at home, but I love traveling. And so I know for some of you, for myself, it's like, I want to see my out of province friends and family. I want to go see new parts of the country. Maybe if you're in grade 12, you want to take advantage of this summer before you go off to college and you want to do some traveling. And all of a sudden we're like, oh, what do we do? And I know probably most of you, like myself, are going, I'm tired of virtual environments. When can we get together in reality? I get that. And of course, considering your families, we have to ask that question as well. How are your folks doing? I mean, there are days, no doubt, when they struggle and they too are wondering, when will things go back to normal? So all this stuff is hanging over us. And, you know, it forces us to go, I've got to rethink some things. I've got to rethink. And so with all that background, we seriously need to rethink and then reboot. Rethink, the idea being that we need to reconsider who our Lord is. We need to reconfirm in whom our trust is found. We need to rethink our position in Christ. And then, with that in mind, we need to reboot, to recheck our purpose, to realign our attitudes, to recapture a sense of wonder and hope as we recognize who we are in Christ Jesus. Because at the end of the day, whether it's today or tomorrow, whenever you end up closing your eyes and going to sleep and wake up the next day, day to day, at the end of every day, the bottom line is our hope is found in Christ. It's sure not found in the world. If that's one lesson we can pull from COVID, it's sure not found in the world, is it? So I want to dive briefly into a worldview issue to kind of get our minds to think around the idea of rethinking who this is that we serve. And because I lecture on worldview issues, I consider this kind of a basic starting point. Here's the question. Is reality one or is reality two? Let me rephrase that. Is reality oneness or is reality otherness? My friend, Dr. Peter Jones, in his book, The Other Worldview, says it this way. If God and nature make up reality, then all is two. And everything is either creator or creature. On the other hand, if the universe is all there is, then all is one. In other words, under the idea of oneism or oneness, God, nature, and man are all essentially the same. They share the core essence. They are relatively the same because that's all there is, nothing but creation. There is no outside creator. The biblical worldview is not dualism, but twoism or otherness. And that is God, separate, distinct, holy, set apart, operating outside of time, space, and matter, the one indeed who actually formed that and has its movement. There is God, and then everything else. And then when you take a look at that worldview from that perspective, you realize that, oh, we have a biblical value basis for allowing judgment to come into play, discernment. Because if everything is one, well, what does it matter? You're good or you're bad. Makes no difference. War, peace, it's all the same. If you really have a oneness worldview, and I intersect a lot of my work with people who have a oneness worldview, where does your hope come from? How can you have a better hope for tomorrow? Because better is an illusion. Hope is the same as today, or pardon me, tomorrow is the same as today. And where is hope found if everything is just the same, if it's all essentially one? No, in the biblical worldview, we recognize God is distinct. He is outside. He is the one who's created. He is literally the author of life. And so there is hope because there is a higher standard that he has imposed, that he has a value system that is based upon. So however you look at these two things, oneism or twoism, it will determine all kinds of things for you. Ethics, law, philosophy, political theory, the list goes on. Gender issues. Oh, wow. That is absolutely wrapped in the question, ultimately, oneism or twoism. So it's a pretty big deal. 2 years ago, this weekend, I was attending the largest indoor pagan gathering in the US Midwest to do research. So for that weekend, I was surrounded by Wiccans and witches and druids and all of those who are involved in the pagan worldview. And it was their event. I'd gone into their house, so to speak, as a Christian researcher to try to learn and to understand their worldview better, because that is literally my job. So there is a purpose in doing that. And I was there for a purpose. Partway through the event, I ended up talking to a gentleman, and in the course of our conversation, we said, hey, let's sit down and have a cup of coffee together. Now, he's a pagan, and remember, I'm a Christian. And so as we were talking and as we were sharing with each other, he asks, what kind of a pagan am I? Because he assumed I'm a pagan. That's all that's there. I said, I'm not. I'm a Christian. And he's like, what? What are you doing here, man? And so I said, I'm here to learn. I'm here to try to understand what your worldview is all about. And then we ended up having, and I kid you not, it was a 2-hour-long conversation. And it started off with, what is reality? Is it oneness or two-ness? Is it everything God, nature, and man? Is it all one? Or is there a separate God? Is there a God who is outside of time and space, who created us? And so it ended up becoming a fascinating conversation, and it was good, really, really good. So that is a foundation to work with. But we can't stop there. We have to actually now figure out, who is this God that's other? So, first of all, is there oneism in the Bible? Yes, there is. Genesis chapter 3, verse 5. There we know the narrative of Adam and Eve. They're about to eat the fruit. They have been promised now by the deceiver. They have been promised this promise. For God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened. This is what the deceiver was saying to Eve. Your eyes will be opened and you will be like or as God, knowing good and evil. So here's oneness in play right from the very beginning. The lie being that you can be as God. that you can equal him, that you can attain this stature. The lie basically says this: if you transgress, you will transform. Think about that. If you transgress, you will transform. That was what the lie was. And then in Romans chapter 1, we see oneism happening as well. The idea of nature as being worthy of worship. And in Romans chapter 1, we see Paul talking, saying that you've exchanged the truth of God. You've exchanged the truth of God for the lie. And that is referring back to Genesis chapter 3. You've exchanged the truth of God for the lie and worshiped and served the creature rather than the creator. So that's a onist perspective, and that's there. That's right there for us. But then the biblical account shows us something different. It shows us that indeed God is other. God is the creator. Genesis 1 makes that plain. First of all, God creates, and yet he remains separate from creation. He divides light and darkness. He divides land, sea, the heavens. He develops a distinction among the species. He divides up the animal kingdom into distinct species. Cattle after their own kind, birds and fish, creeping things, all after their own kind. It's not a evolutionary transformation. They're all made after their own kind. It actually makes sense because that is really what we see in the world. If we're willing to take a good look and see what the Bible says, all of a sudden we're going, it's there. It's in front of us. God creates. And then there's a distinction of humans from even the animal kingdom. We're made in God's image. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. And there's a distinction even in our gender, in those gender roles. There's distinctions, divisions. Value can now be assigned because we have been made or created by God, who designs us in a way where there are distinctions, which is really, really incredible if you think about it. One of my favorite verses to take a look at in terms of understanding the uniqueness of God is Isaiah chapter 40, verses 12 to 18. I'll read it to you. Isaiah 40, verses 12 to 18. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, measured heaven with a span, and calculated the dust of the earth in a measure, weighed the mountains in scales and the hills in a balance? Who has directed the Spirit of the Lord, or as his counselor has taught him? With whom did he take counsel? Who instructed him, taught him the way and the path of justice? Who taught him knowledge and showed him the way of understanding? Behold, the nations are as a drop in a bucket and are counted as the small dust on the scales. Look, he lifts up the isles as a very little thing, and Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor its be sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted by him less than nothing and worthless. To whom then will you liken God? Now let's break this down real quick, because there's a lot of stuff there. So the first question: who measured the waters in the hollow of his hands? Who has measured the heaven with a span? Many, many moons ago, when I was much closer to your age, I used to do road surveying work. I loved being a surveyor on the highway because you could see the whole thing with like a panoramic view. You saw the whole project. You were literally measuring every foot for mile after mile after mile. And the entire project would just almost in a way come into your mind as to how this would look, because you're seeing it all. You are mathematically seeing it all. I loved that kind of work. It was so cool. Well, in a sense, this is the same kind of language God is using. He's saying, I've measured it. I know it all. I've measured every bit of it. I'm holding the waters in my hands. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it all. That's the God we're serving. And then the question is asked, who's directed the Spirit of the Lord, or his counselor taught him? With whom did he take counsel? Who instructed him? Here's a question. Which of you folks today had a phone call from God or a message from God saying, I need some help. I need your opinion. Can you give me some advice? No, no. Isaiah is saying all of the world's counsel together doesn't match up his. Did you instruct God? Really? No. Who taught him the way of understanding and justice? He himself. All of our collective wisdom doesn't mean squat compared to who he is. Who will you liken to God? And then the nations. Behold, the nations are a drop in the bucket and are counted as a small dust on the scales. The imagery here is beautiful. God is looking at the power of the nations, the power of Canada, the power of China, the power of the United States, and going, you're nothing to me. You're nothing. The idea of a drop in a bucket. Back in that era, you would lower down a pail into a cistern or a well, and you'd raise it back up, and your bucket would be full, and you'd have that drip, drip, drip off the end of the bucket. God is likening the power of the nations against himself to those drips, or the small dust on the scales. You know, that fine dust that you don't have under your bed, that really fine stuff, it actually won't even count on the scale. It won't even press on the scale, but it's just there, and you have the ability to go, it's gone, because it doesn't have any meaning compared to you. That is how God is likening the nations compared to him. That is the power of the God we serve. And then what's this thing about Lebanon? Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor its beast sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing. What does that mean? What does this mean? Lebanon is not sufficient to burn. Well, in that era, if you would have taken all the trees of Lebanon, and this is a model of worship that's being portrayed, if you take all the trees of Lebanon, and Lebanon was known as a nation of trees, and you would mount up all of those trees, and you would create an enormous altar to God, and you would sacrifice the beasts, all the cattle of Lebanon, and you would have this incredible inferno to God, this amazing altar. Even your model of worship wouldn't come close to who he is. It would be kind of like if we would tear down your church, we'd tear down my church, and we'd tear down all the churches in Manitoba and all of them across the land, and take all the materials and build a gigantic superstructure church, a cathedral that would, just by its sheer size, would blow your breath away. And you'd walk in and you'd be going, oh, God has to be here. Look at this place. He's saying, not even your models of worship compared to who I really am. So Isaiah is asking, to whom then will you liken God? Pretty wild. 1 Chronicles 29:11-13 says this: yours, O Lord, is the greatness, the power, and the glory, the victory, and the majesty, for all that is in heaven and in earth is yours. Yours is the kingdom, O Lord, and you are exalted as head over all. Both riches and honor come from you, and you reign over all. In your hand is power and might. In your hand it is to make great and to give strength to all. Now, therefore, our God, we thank you and praise your glorious name. Awesome. Awesome. Isaiah 45. For thus says the Lord, who created the heavens, who is God, who formed the earth and made it, who has established it and did not create it in vain, who formed it to be inhabited. I am the Lord, and there is no other. I have not spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth. I did not say to the seed of Jacob, seek me in vain. I, the Lord, speak righteousness. I declare things that are right. I love those passages because it's like the majesty of God can't be hidden. It can't be hidden. This is the God who now desires that you have a relationship with him and pursue that relationship. and pursue it the way you would pursue treasure, the way that you would pursue riches. I'm going to read from the book of Job 28. Put my glasses on for this. I'm fortunate I've got a little monitor behind my screen here, but for this one, I'm at that point in life where the reading glasses come out. This is worth considering. I'm going to read Job 28, the whole thing. It's not going to take long. It's broken down into 3 parts, and it forces us to ask a question. The first part goes like this. There is a mine for silver, and a place where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth, and copper is smelted from ore. Man puts an end to the darkness. He searches for the farthest recesses for ore in the blackest darkness. Far from where people dwell, he cuts a shaft in places forgotten by the foot of man. Far from man, he dangles and sways. The earth from which food comes is transformed below as by fire. Sapphires come from its rocks, and its dust contains nuggets of gold. No bird of prey knows that hidden path. No falcon's eye has seen it. Proud beasts do not set foot on it, and no proud lion prowls there. Man's hand assaults the flinty rock and lays bare the roots of the mountain. He tunnels through the rock. His eyes see all of its treasures. He searches the sources of the rivers and brings hidden things to light. Okay, what's going on? What's going on here? Man will dig deep under mountains. We will literally turn mountains upside down to look for treasures. We will search. We will dam up rivers. We will build and construct. We will go to places where no animal, no beast has ever set foot in our search for beautiful things, for rocks, for whatever. By the way, this might be a bit of a rabbit trail. Does anybody here collect rocks? Nobody? I'm sure somebody does. I love collecting rocks. Treasure hunting. Yes, thank you. I go metal detecting. I love treasure stuff. So there are a couple of items in my rock collection. I've been collecting since I was a kid. I love doing stuff like that. It's so much fun. So when I'm reading this passage, I'm going, yeah, I get it. I get it. Pardon me while I reset my computer. I get it. Let's go look for treasure. This is treasure. This we'll be reading is treasure. Verses 12 on. But where can wisdom be found? Where does understanding dwell? Man does not comprehend its worth. It cannot be found in the land of the living. The deep says, it's not in me. The sea says, it's not with me. It cannot be bought with the finest gold, nor can its price be weighed in silver. It cannot be bought with the gold of Ophir, with precious onyx or sapphires. Neither gold nor crystal can compare with it, nor can it be had for jewels of gold. Coral and jasper are not worthy of mention. The price of wisdom is beyond rubies. The topaz of Cush cannot compare with it. It cannot be bought with pure gold. So there we go. Your treasure ain't going to cut it. If you want wisdom that comes from this God, this isn't going to cut it. So then the question becomes, where does it come from? How do we obtain it? Where then does wisdom come from? Where does understanding dwell? It is hidden from the eyes of every living thing, concealed even from the birds of the air. Destruction and death says, only a rumor of it has reached our ears. God understands the way to it and sees, and he alone knows where it dwells, for he views the ends of the earth and sees everything under the heavens. When he established the force of the wind and measured out the waters, when he made a decree for the rain and a path for the thunderstorm, then he looked at wisdom and appraised it. He confirmed it and he tested it. And he said to man, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom. And to shun evil is understanding. So as we rethink who it is we serve, we are forced to ponder, are we seeking after the wisdom of God? Are we seeking after the wisdom that comes from our Maker? Let's quickly jump into the New Testament. Mark 8. In Mark 8, Jesus asks the question of his disciples, who do men say that I am? And some of his disciples said, you're John the Baptist. And some men say you're Elijah. And some of the other disciples said, well, some say that you're a prophet. And then Jesus asked a more important question. Who do you say that I am? And this is the question that has hung over human hearts now for 2,000 years. So the passages I read from the Old Testament, listen to this out of Colossians, because you're going to see a parallel, a powerful parallel, and you're going to realize, oh, this is the one we serve. We could already see him in the Old Testament in a powerful way. Colossians 1, verses 15 to 18. He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. By the way, the firstborn doesn't mean birth chronology. It's a status. It says higher than anything else, of utmost supremacy. The firstborn over all creation, for by him all things were created that are in heaven and are on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created through him and for him. Oh, so let's stop right there. The big question that man has asked is, there's two big questions. Where did I come from? And why am I here? Right? Where did I come from? Colossians says, right here, God made you. All things were created through him. Why am I here? Colossians says, and for him. As a believer, you shouldn't be confused. Literally, the two biggest questions that man has asked in the history of philosophy and knowledge, Paul is wrapping up in the words to the Colossians. All things were created through him and for him. And then Paul goes on to say, and he is before all things, and in him all things consist. And he is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead. Again, that status. He's conquered death. He's the author of life. Only the author of life can conquer death. That in all these things he may have the preeminence or the superiority. So I hope this causes us to rethink, to go, oh, the God we serve is not trivial. The God we serve is not small. The God we serve is the very one holding my breath. And he desires to set my paths. And he wants me to search out for his wisdom like I would search for treasure. That is absolutely mind-blowing, that he desires this. And he's calling us to do this. So he is a creator indeed, distinct from creation. Because he is creator, he's worthy of being feared. And he is certainly above all things material and spiritual. He has the power, and his is the kingdom. So now in these minutes, let's reboot. Now we have to rethink who this God is, in the sense of we should be excited and drawn into this. We should be going, oh my goodness, this is amazing. The God that has made me, this God is bigger than anything in the world. Why am I fearing? Who do I trust? So let's reboot our patterns. Let's reboot our actions. And the one thing I tell people is, I was telling this to some folks in my church just last week, really biblical Christian application is our minds are changed. Our hearts are stirred by what is true. And then we do the good. So with that in mind, we need to reboot. You're not a product of this world's culture. You are not that product. Your identity isn't wrapped up by what society says. Your identity and your purpose is different than what culture or society is telling you. Your worth isn't measured by the things of this world. Your worth isn't measured by the fears that have been put upon you. Because you have been made as an image bearer of God, which is Genesis chapter 1. Because of that, you have value. There is something distinct and special about you. Yes, we all struggle with a sin nature, but you have been called by this God. He has created you. I like Genesis 1:27. This is God declaring his creation of mankind. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them. What does this mean? That you're a photocopy of God? No. But it means that you're an imager on earth. In other words, you're supposed to reflect him. You reflect his righteousness. You're supposed to reflect his goodness in all things that you do. He created you to be here. Think about that. And in doing this, he created you to be a reflection of himself to the world around you. So what does that mean to be a reflection? Well, I like how Paul puts it as an ambassador. 2 Corinthians says this, "Now then, we are ambassadors for Christ. As though God were pleading through us, we implore you on Christ's behalf, be reconciled to God. For he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, that we might become the righteousness of God in him." Does anybody know what an ambassador does? Does any of the parents or any of the students I'm talking to, have any of you ever rubbed shoulders with embassy staff or personnel, with ambassadors? Paul says you're an ambassador. That means you are part of God's diplomatic corps. You're part of God's diplomatic service. So what does an ambassador do? A long time ago, I had the opportunity of spending an evening listening to the U.S. ambassador to Saudi Arabia. In some of the circles I've been in, I've rubbed shoulders with a few different ambassadors. And in his presentation, he was outlining to us what it means to be an ambassador. And as he did so, it hit me. This is our task. This is our job as well. So I'm going to put it in our Christian language. First, what is an ambassador? You are the official. Get this, let this sink in. You are the people I'm talking to, you all, each of you are the official legal representative of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. You are literally the official and legal representative. I can't think of a higher calling than that. It is not what you're going to become. No, it is who you are. And what does an ambassador do? Well, he first of all knows his own king's power and position. And he represents his king's, his government's interest, not his own. And he takes and represents that now in a foreign land. He understands, he takes the time to understand the culture, the customs of that foreign land. He's set apart from it, but he can't be uninformed as to what is happening. And this is probably one of the reasons, even though you may not realize it, why you do worldview studies, so that you're not uninformed. For what purpose? To speak truth into that culture, so that you can reflect, be God's imager right where you are in this culture. What should this produce in us? Colossians chapter 3, Paul talks about being the new man, that we are to be holy, put on tender mercies, that we are to seek humility, long-suffering, meekness. By the way, meekness is not weakness. Meekness is power under control. Jesus was the meekest man, but there was no weakness. He had power under control. This is what we're supposed to do. As Christ forgave us, we forgive others. We're supposed to let the peace of God rule in our hearts. And then Paul goes on, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. Here's a beautiful part. And whatever you do in word or deed, think about that. Whatever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. So, how does this change your attitude? I have to give myself an attitude check all the time. I think we all do, don't we? How does my attitude reflect being an ambassador for God? How does it reflect being this new man, this new creation? How does it reflect the God who is literally the author of my life? How does my attitude reflect that? How does this look in terms of what you're studying, what I'm studying? I love studying, but how does that look? How does this spur us on to seek Christ's wisdom more and more? How does this affect the relationships that you have with your parents, with your siblings? Listen, you are to reflect God to those around you. You are an ambassador. Live it. And you can live it, first of all, right in your own household. So, has COVID limited us? Yeah, absolutely. But are you willing to rethink and then reboot? To rethink who you are in Christ and then to reboot your attitudes and your actions? Looking now for opportunities? Think outside the box. Some of it may be pretty simple stuff. Have you ever thought of maybe starting a pen pal relationship with one of the seniors in your church? Somebody that you aren't connected to really, not a grandparent, but somebody different. Looking to develop a relationship, to seek their wisdom. My daughter in Miller had, I guess there was a prayer card of some type that went out to different churches, and a senior couple from a community about 100 miles away received my daughter's card, and there's been some exchange. It's great. Do something like that. Think outside the box. Begin a Bible study in a new book of the Bible that you've never really dived into before, or maybe one that you've gone through and you've just, read, but not really thought about. I did a study in the book of Numbers last year, and I was mind blown as I started to really dig into what was there, the meat in the book of Numbers. The book of Numbers, my goodness, the book of Numbers is loaded, just loaded with layer after layer after layer of incredible insights into who our God is. Take the time to grow in your ambassadorship. Start thinking about how you can build up your siblings, how you can build up your parents, words of encouragement, deeds that bring blessings into their life. I know as a younger person, and I know this to be true because it's for older persons as well, adults as well. We struggle. We struggle to wrestle with, where is our mission? Where does God want me to be? Where is our mission? As an ambassador, where is it? This sounds like a corny exercise, but it's really simple. It only takes 2 seconds. Look at your feet. Look at your feet. Wherever those feet go, that's where your mission is. Wherever your feet go, that's where you, as an ambassador, are moving to exhibit Christ's goodness, to be his ambassador to the culture around you, whether it's to your own church culture, your own household, or into the wider world. Wherever your feet are, that is where your mission is. Colossians, it says, and whatever you do in word or deed, did you get that? Whatever you do. So even the more mundane things, the things that we don't go are spiritual, maybe more secular in its approach, like hobbies, things that are of interest. Do those things. Do those things as if you are doing it all for the sake of Christ. You have hobbies. Of course you do. I collect rocks. So it kind of sounds weird for a guy in his 50s. I love it. I enjoy doing all kinds of things. I got more hobbies than I have time. Do it for Christ. Do it all. Do all things. Have you taken this COVID time to build your skills, to build up knowledge, to do things that maybe you haven't had the chance to do before? Many moons ago, I started a cabin project. I had to put it on hold as I wrote my book. Last fall, I was in the bush week after week after week working on my cabin. It was great. I took COVID time to go and do something that was good and needed to be done. So what are you reading? What are you reading? Are you taking the time to branch out in your reading? Do you document what you read? This may seem mundane, but do this all with a gusto, knowing that you're an ambassador. I love reading. Something I've been doing for 30 plus years now, and I keep a running tab. This is what I do. I have a page, and it ends up becoming multiple pages, where I list every book that I've read when I'm done reading it. Author, title, publisher, how many pages. And I keep track of it. I've got pages of it. And it's great because it has honed my thinking. In terms of activities, even when it comes to reading, the one thing that I started to do this winter, because I was going stir crazy. I've self-diagnosed travel derangement syndrome. I really want to travel. I pulled out my road atlas, and I have my laptop sitting in front of me with Google Earth, and I've been reading a book from the 1800s of this Western explorer and this scout. And as he's listing off towns and valleys and rivers and mountain passes, I'm hunting them down on the atlas, and I'm hunting it down on Google Maps to see, have I crossed paths where he's gone? It has been so much fun. It's like, all of a sudden I'm yelling to my wife, Leanne, I'm like, check this out. 100 years ago, we crossed paths. And it was so cool. It's been such a fun exercise. So in all things, whatever you do, in word or deed, whatever you do, even those mundane things, pursue that excellence. Pursue that excellence. Because the God who created you loves you. And the God who created you desires that you will grow and grow in wisdom and knowledge. 2020 is behind us. 2020 is behind us. So it's time for us to rethink and reboot. And as we consider 2020 as well, what did you do differently then that you can look back on and say, I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I had that opportunity. I'm glad I had that time, as maybe as difficult or as strange as it may have been. That's part of the rebooting process, rethinking, allowing Thanksgiving to rule our hearts. So I've talked for too long. Hey, thanks for staying on as long as you have. Are there any questions? Any questions at all that you may have? I'll open up the chat line here instead.
We seem to have lost your audio, Carl.
Oh, no. Can you hear me now?
It's showing that your audio is connected, but I'm not hearing it.
Okay.
There you are. We've got you back.
Okay. Good. Good. Sorry about that. Good old technical difficulties, right?
Yep.
Any questions at all from the chat? I'm looking to see.
Maybe it was just me that couldn't hear you. Caden said he could hear you the whole time. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, I like this comment. Instead of saying to God, why did you choose me? We need to be like the prophet Isaiah saying, here I am, Lord, send me. Yes. Bang on. Absolutely. That's exactly it. How long did it take to write my book? Oh, a long time. I started at the end of 2015. I already started a little ways into 2015, but 2015 began really the focus time. And then I didn't wrap it up until October of 2018. It's a big book. It's a heavy book. It's dense with information, 1,800 footnotes, and just a lot of stuff. A lot. It's like a massive handbook on what is happening in our culture. So yeah, it took a long time. My poor wife, she kind of describes herself in that time period of being like a soldier's wife, a guy who's gone off to battle and doesn't come home, because that's kind of how it felt for her, because my whole focus was just on what I had to do with that book. But I'm glad it's opened up a lot of doors. I've had some incredible experiences because of it. So what kind of rocks do you collect? Pretty ones, all kinds of them. I've got some cool quartz pieces. I've collected some fantastic items in rock outcroppings on highways. I've got some cool geodes that I've done with that. Hang on, I'll show you one of my favorites. I have too many favorites, sorry. This is an incredible calcite flower. Extremely rare, that was found and taken from a mine in China, an abandoned mine. For a short time, I had a contact who would go into abandoned mines in China looking for very, very rare pieces. And I obtained this from him. This is kind of fun. See if you can see this. Looks just like brown little pieces of nothing. Just garbagey little stones. They're garnets. We found a big one about that size and had professionally cut into a beautiful, beautiful piece. You can't really see it because of the light, but here's another one. Itty bitty little white stone that doesn't look like much. We found another one about the size of my thumb. It's a topaz. And we got it cut and then heated, put in a furnace, and brings the blue out. Yes, fossils. Yes, I have some fossils. I've got a cool fossil that we found on the edge of Riding Mountain. I had a paleontologist look at it. He wasn't sure what it is. It's some type of a dinosaur bone of some kind. Where is it? I can do this all night. Just funky. It's hard to tell or hard to see, but it's almost like vertebrae or claws, and they're all mashed together. In that same little valley on the side of Riding Mountain, I found a fossilized snake in a big piece of shale. And I had my crack hammer with me, and I wanted to break it free and bring this home because it was a cool snake in this piece of rock. And I was an idiot. I chipped at it and chipped at it, and then the whole thing shattered. I'm like, no. I love searching after treasure like this. This is fun. It's great. It's exciting. But boy, the book of Job, just for me, strikes home even that much more. Treasure is cool. We will dig into the earth to look for treasure. The real treasure comes, though, as we seek God and we fear him first. That's the real one. But yeah, collect antique bottles. Like I said, metal detecting, I've done a lot of metal detecting. I found some really amazing stuff. Last year along the river, because I've got some property along the White Mud River where I'm building this cabin, pardon me, we found buffalo bones along the one of the beaches. We haven't had buffalo in this neck of the woods for like 200 years. And so I've got a buffalo rib. Buffalo rib and a buffalo leg bone. And not far away from that, this winter, as we were walking on the ice, we can see a horn sticking out. And so I can't wait to get back there when the ice is gone and the water recedes a bit. I'm going to try to retrieve this. I hope the ice doesn't take it out. If it does, I'll just wade back and forth until I can find it. But it's there. The buffalo skull is there. Fun stuff. Do you believe that God is using COVID to prepare his bride? I think yes. I think partly. I think anytime we have testing, God is actually molding and shaping us. Whether it's COVID or in the case of, well, actually in the case of any and every difficulty, there's that opportunity to either shine or really to go down. I lost my brother. My brother was 17 when he was killed in a truck accident. My mother passed away when she was 67 back in 2011. Both of them in my minds were tragic young deaths. My mom of cancer, she battled cancer 3 times over the years. Once when I was a little kid, and then once back in 2002, and then 2011 took her. Those are tragedies. They were rough. I talk about that a little bit in my book. Hated it. But at the same time, God used that. God used both of those to strengthen some of the people in our church, to strengthen us as a family, to reboot, to rethink and reset and reboot our own thinking. So, I mean, that's just on a personal level, but yes. Oh, your book is called Game of Gods, right? Correct. Game of Gods, the Temple of Man in the Age of Reenchantment.
Carl, there's 2 questions that you missed earlier. Have you ever feared for your life while attending any research? And the other question was, what other books would you recommend?
I've never feared for my life. I've had some really dicey, some pretty freaky situations. I was at a parallel political event to the G8 conference, which is a high-level meeting of government heads of state that was 2002 in Calgary, and where I was pulled out of the meeting by security and then interrogated for a couple of hours. That was definitely interesting. And I do talk about one other experience in the book where I was at a world government meeting and the organizer suspected that I was an infiltrator. He was right. So yeah, we had some back and forth before I got the boot. He kicked me out. Ironically, we're friends on Twitter and we go back and forth, and I've given him a copy of my book. You never know where things go. I would definitely recommend Peter Jones's book, The Other Worldview. That's a good book. When I taught Miller, the course at Miller the first time, that was the book I used, The Other Worldview by Dr. Peter Jones. This is good to help you work through this thinking of oneism and twoism and how the culture is changing. That definitely is a book I would recommend. Hang on. So this is the book, The Other Worldview by Dr. Peter Jones. Another book that's worthwhile taking a look at or just having as a reference is The Question, Is God a Moral Monster? Primarily because there are times, especially in the atheist community, that they kind of use that against us, those Old Testament passages. And it's a good book to help understand this, so you can have a better answer and can understand this better too. Those are just a couple of books. I could certainly give you a list, a long list. There's some great books out there. There's lots of garbage too. My own library is a collection of some really good, important stuff. And then it's a research library. So that means there's everything here. And that's part of the calling.
Well, Carl, thank you. Really appreciate your challenge, your message, your encouragement. What I'd like to suggest is that if you'd be willing, you offered to make a list. We'd love to circulate that.
Okay,
so
cool.
if you would send that to us, we'll put it up on the Matches website, and folks can use that as a resource, as a way to dig deeper. And so if you're willing to do that, we'd love to circulate that to everyone.
Excellent, excellent.
Carl, I'd like to thank you certainly for your presentation, but also for the tour. The tour of a glimpse of your rock collection, the tour of a glimpse of your experiences, and a glimpse of your library, but particularly a glimpse of your life and the Lord's leading in your life. And we just so much appreciate your sharing with us. Your message to the teen truck here this evening has been really special. And what I'd like to ask is, would you be willing to close us in prayer and just to pray for the teens and for the families that are here?
Absolutely. Lord Jesus, we come before you this evening. We're grateful that we can do this, even if it is virtual, to be able to interact, to be able to encourage and build each other up. And Lord, I pray especially for the students and the parents who are engaged in homeschooling right now in this province, for those who are listening, to those who are a part of this organization, that you would build them up, that you would strengthen them, that you would encourage them, Lord, that they would be excited, rejuvenated to go back into your word and back into their studies. And Lord, we just ask that you would continue to lift them up and to give them a hunger and a desire to seek after your wisdom, to be ambassadors for you, Jesus. We pray this in your name. By the way, I'm going to open this up. I have Bible college students. I have secular college students, university students, and then I have just lay people who will come to my office to do research. It's a safe place to do that. And if anybody who's on this call is ever interested, if you're doing a paper or you want to come and just spend some time doing some studies, it's open for that.
Well, Carl, thank you for that openness and that invitation, and I it's just so much appreciated, and thank you. I'm just going to wrap things up a little bit with a few comments here, and so just in wrapping things up for this evening, I'd like to ask one thing, and that is, if you have found tonight to be useful, if you would be interested in doing this again, we'd like to hear about that, and we're willing to organize more of these. So if you're interested in doing that, you can send an email to info@matches.ca. We'll type it into the chat here.
Tell them they can make a comment.
And that way we can get your contact information. You can just type a plus or a yes or a maybe into the chat box and give us an idea of whether you'd be interested in doing this again. What I find interesting and positive is that everybody stayed. Whenever you do a Zoom call and after a bit, the numbers decline, but everybody stayed. So I take that as being very positive, Carl. And
That's cool. Yeah,
that's always a positive vote. And if they actually come back again, that's even more positive. So with that, we're going to end this evening. But what I'd like to ask a second thing, and that's that you remind your parents, remind your people that are in your homeschool support group, the people that you know, that next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're going to be having another conference with Todd Wilson and other speakers for 7 to 9 p.m. same time next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. And just encourage those that you know to take that in and join in on that. And there is information at machs.ca website on that information. So far, we have about 250 people registered for that, which most people come as couples, so that's probably about 500 people. So we're thrilled with that, but wanting to encourage others. And we know that we're going to have some people from around the world that are attending that. We have people from Abu Dhabi, from Ukraine, and from Belarus, as well as from across Canada that are registered so far, and certainly many Manitobans. And so Carl, thank you. And David, thank you for spending time here with us this evening. And I think an exciting, a challenging, and an encouraging evening. So thank you all, and have a great rest of the evening. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.